everyone, this is Professor Benjamin, and the purpose of this video is to give you a walkthrough of your final exam. So your final exam will of course be down here, and you will be given the dates in the module of when you can take the final exam. You will be given an hour and a half to take the final exam. So you will be given 1 hour and a half to take the final exam. This is the review sheet for the final exam, and I'm going to walk through that with you in 1 minute. So here is, I'm going to open up the review sheet, and this is what will be on your final exam. So you will need to know how to geocode. And if you don't remember, we learned how to use that Google add-on, and then we geocoded. So we had addresses, and then we had to use the Google add-on through our Gmail account, and then we created the longitude and latitudes for the XY coordinates for those exact locations. So you will need to do that. You'll be given a data set and you'll be asked to geocode. So here's what I suggest you do. Go back and practice. Use the Excel file from your previous, from the module that when we geocoded, and practice how to geocode. So when you get the file, you'll know exactly what to do on the final exam. So you'll know how to upload a file if you're using Google Excel sheets, right? You'll know how to upload that document and then geocode with it. So it's really important for you to learn how to do that. The other thing is you're going to need to create a Google map. So you'll be given longitudes and latitudes, and then you'll be requested to create a Google map. So again, go back to that module again and try and recreate the Google map over and over again so that you're familiar with the process of how to create a Google map. Don't just think, oh, I know how to do that. I did it for the assignment and I should be good to go for the final exam. I wouldn't do that. What I would do is make sure you practice it, right? Anything that you need to succeed in, you need to practice. So you practice, practice, practice. So I would go back to the module, practice how to make a Google map over and over again until you feel really comfortable with the process. The process doesn't change. What you upload, like the Excel sheet, changes, but the process of how to create these or how to geocode does not change. Okay, then you need to know how to do data analysis. So again, like we did in the first part of the semester, you need to know how to do COUNTIFs, percentages, ranges, okay? So you'll need to do data analysis on a data set that I give you. Now you're going to do data analysis on the data set, and then you're going to create graphs or pie charts of the data analysis you do. Now you get to pick whatever attributes you want to create the tables off of. So if you want to, when you see the data set, you can say, okay, I'm going to do it for gender, for race, and for this other attribute, okay? So you're going to need to do 3 types of data analysis and then create, so you're going to need to create three where you use COUNTIF or COUNTIFs or ranges or percentages. You're going to need to do that. Then you're going to need to create a graph, you're going to need to create a pie chart, and you're going to need to create 1 pivot table with a graph or pie chart. So what do I suggest you do? All of you should be familiar now with COUNTIF and COUNTIFs. You should also be familiar with how to create a pie chart from a table, and then, or a bar graph from a table. And then I would go back and revisit how to make pivot tables. So you'll have to make a pivot table and then make a graph off of the pivot table. And so that'll be for one of the data sets. So really, though, the 3 things that are going to take up the most time on the final exam are geocoding, creating a map, and data analysis. They're going to be worth the most amount of points on the final exam. The other thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to, you may have a question on how to fill out a police report, just kind of not filling out a police report, but you might have a question about what you need to fill out a police report. And then the other questions you're going to have would be kind of matching true and false or fill in the blank type questions. On longitude, latitude, you got to know what those terms mean. You need to know what body cameras are and maybe some of the issues with body cameras. You also need to know what emerging technologies are. And all of that can be found in those modules within the So you can find all the types of emerging technologies under the emerging technology module, okay? So the top part, geocoding, Google Maps, and data analysis, as well as creating pie chart, graph, and pivot tables. That'll be the mainstay of the final exam. The other part of the final exam will be kind of fill-ins or matching or true and false. So just so you have an idea of that. The other important thing, of course, is going to be uploading files, right? So we want to make sure that our name as well as the name of the assignment is in there. And in some of the instructions, I tell you what I want the title of the document to be. So those little things, while they don't seem important, are super important because it's all part of the final assessment of the learning outcomes for this semester. So it's really important to find out how well you're doing on labeling your files, stay organized, right? Uploading the correct file type. So I will specifically say to you, I want a screenshot in a Word document. So you're going to need to learn how to do a screenshot and then copy and paste that into a Word document. I will say to you, I would like a PowerPoint with this many slides. You need to make sure you do that, and then you upload a PowerPoint to me. Okay, so there's specific ways I want things done, and I want you to spend more time on those things in this final exam. Okay, so that's a little bit of a walkthrough of the final exam in terms of what my expectations are. Those expectations will not change on the final exam. So there will be those three main parts and then kind of those other questions that'll be on the final exam. You can see the final exam module opens on the dates given in there, and then I have, of course, the data sets for you. I'll have those available for you. So you'll be able to open those, and I'm gonna kind of, you're gonna have, when you have the final exam, the portal will open for you to be able to use those. Okay, and so you'll geocode, you'll look at the data set, and you'll also create longitudes and latitudes for specific ones, or create a map. So really important for you to understand and know how to do that before the final exam. Okay, and of course, please, if you have questions, make sure you reach out about the final exam. And make sure you practice. So practice how to geocode, practice how to make a Google map, practice how to do data analysis, how to create bar graphs, how to create pie charts, how to create pivot tables. Know how to do all of that ahead of time, and you have data sets where you've had to practice that. And so go back to those data sets and just practice, 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 practice. And then on the final exam, remember, you're just using a different Excel file on the final exam in order to perform these tasks. Okay, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Remember, you'll have an hour and a half on the final exam.